What is going on, everybody? Me and Brandy doing another couples therapy. We was able to go out to the movies. We were able to see another one of the screen unseens at AMC, where you go see a movie and you don't know what you're going to get. We got, as you can tell from the background, the guy from Reacher was the main star here. The movie Motor City. All right, I don't want to end on a bad note, or at least but we're going to go ahead. We'll let Brandy start this out on purpose because we already talked about it a little bit. We got a short out there where we did our out of theater reaction, but go ahead, Brandy. What did you think of the movie Motor City?
I didn't care for it at all. I didn't really like it. I was not a fan of this style of movie, and yeah, no, it wasn't for me.
I mean, so what was the things about the movie that you
Are we
didn't
doing
like?
spoiler or non-spoiler?
I mean, it's non-spoiler, so don't say a particular part, obviously, but
How the movie was like?
yeah.
With just a lot of music and not many words, and the style that the film was in, I wasn't particularly a fan of, and the storyline, just I tried to give it a chance when it started, and I was like, oh cool, some of the music was good, and then I was like, okay, when are we starting? When are they talking? And then it was like long, and I'm like, once I realized, that first scene, and then, the scene after, and it was the same way, I'm like, oh, this movie's gonna be this way the whole movie. I like dialogue. I mean, there's words, and you see them talking, but there's music playing over it, so you don't really kind of have to read their lips to try to understand what they're saying. A lot of the acting was more a body movement and stuff, so that was alright. The actors did a okay job with that, but I was not a fan of the style of it.
All right, so we'll get into mine. This is the non-spoiler part, so we're just going to talk about the basic stuff like Brandy just did. But yeah, so if you like dialogue, there's 10 words, probably less than 10 words total in this complete entire movie. Anytime that some things are happening where there are possibly some words being said, it'll draw back a little bit. There'll be for instance, there's one scene where a piano's playing over and you don't really hear anything. You just hear the piano that's getting played. For instance, they do things like that covers up the dialogue on purpose. They don't want you to hear it. It's more about listening to the music that they had during the whole entire movie. So
using your imagination of what's being.
Yeah, we're into this movie and it's 20 or 30 minutes into it, and I'm like, oh, this is an interesting choice, because by now you would have probably had a lot more words. Mm-hmm. But I like dialogue too, like Brandy does. But here's the thing: half the movies I go and see today, most of my problem with the movie is the dialogue, because the writers out there, I don't know, if all the great writers just aren't writing movies anymore, and we got kind of a weak pool of people to grab to write these movies. But a lot of the times, the thing that kind of drags me out of a movie or makes it to where I don't like a movie is the dialogue. I like dialogue when it's great and when it's good and it makes sense and the characters are saying and doing things that they should be doing based on the character that they're playing. So this movie basically takes the dialogue out of it. So there's really you can't say it's good or bad. Right? You can say you don't like that style of movie or something right there, but you can't drag the movie down to me by points because it had bad dialogue, for instance, because there's no dialogue really to go by. And to me, the few words they do say, the ones that when it does happen and you do hear a character say something, it meant way more to me. So I actually thought that was a cool concept and a pretty cool way to do a movie. I almost wish that the director of this movie came out. I haven't even looked at anything. I didn't even know what movie we were going to go see. Mm-hmm. But I almost want to see if this director was you know what? We was doing a movie. I got some great actors and actresses part of this movie, and we're going to do the thing. But I couldn't find somebody that could do the right dialogue. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to do it without dialogue. We're going to do the. You can almost say it in a weird way. It's not a traditional one by any stretch of the imagination, but you could almost say this ended up being a weird musical. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, if musicals were kind of like this a little bit, where it was almost like a regular movie, but it was set to music and you got to see like the reactions of the actors and actresses that are playing their parts, like I would enjoy musicals better. That, I mean, like if you looked at this movie and you were like, this is a musical, would that change? Like if you looked at it in that kind of a light, would that change it any for you?
With musicals, they go along with the story. This music, I wasn't able to follow.
I think on a second watch along, you could probably like the music probably did have like a little message or something to it that kind of fit the moment. But I'm saying like, you know, in regular musicals, the story gets kind of halted whenever they do the whole music thing.
No, when they're in the musicals, they're telling the story and.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. That's the hard part about me with like musicals. So like this movie doesn't stop. It's just basically got the soundtrack. But like in a regular musical, I get pulled out of the movie whenever things are kind of like a regular movie for a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden they bust out in a song in the middle of like a public area, like anywhere.
Wicked?
Yeah, like they just bust in the song out of nowhere.
West Side Story?
Yeah, and when it doesn't even make sense, like what the hell's going on here? Why are they singing all of a sudden? And it doesn't make sense. But I'm not a big musical, but I will go ahead and say this is a definite movie that most of the guys, like if you're a guy, you're going to be more apt to like this movie. Now, you might be a guy that might not like a movie.
There was a few girls I heard.
No. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And there's always going to be that a little bit of a thing. But I do think that it was a movie made for guys and that some women is going to enjoy it. Because, like, it's hardcore. It's got scenes in there. One, Brandy had to turn. We'll say more about that probably like in the spoiler part of it. But yeah, it's got moments in there that like Brandy, she covered her eyes for a second. Then she tried to cover my eyes during one part, which was messed up. You know, it is what it is.
We'll tell you about that.
Yeah, in the spoilers. But I thought I thought the cast did a really good job for a movie where you're not using, you're not doing your dialogue. It's really like facial expressions and kind of like movements and stuff they were doing. I thought they did a fabulous job. I thought that's one of the things that kind of sold me in the movie, because once I realized, oh, this movie's not going to have a lot of dialogue in it, I was like, but you know what? I've enjoyed all the acting so far without the dialogue. Like I was actually like, and like I said, most of the movie, there's some of it that has like sound, like kind of like, you know, not really orchestra music, but it has like music in the background that's not like singing to it or anything. But any of the times they had music that was like with singing in it, it was kind of cool to me that it was always because a car was on and they were like playing the radio basically, or they were inside of a room, or like the one scene that we're talking about where you can't hear the dialogue that's going on. You know, there's stuff happening in the background, but it's because of the music, the piano that's being played by the person during the movie. I thought that was actually pretty creative as well. And if I would have known this movie, like if I would have known about this movie and somebody just kind of told me, they didn't tell me if they liked it or hated it or anything, and they were just like, oh, this movie's got this kind of a style to it, I would have been like, I don't know if I want to go watch it. And that's one of the cool things to me about the screen unseen, or the scream unseens. I always want to say scream, but is I probably wouldn't have watched this movie. I probably wouldn't have went and seen it, but because of what we did, we went and seen this movie. And even though Brandy didn't really like it as much as I did, I think it's, to me, now I haven't been able to get out and watch a crap ton of movies. We watched a decent amount so far this year, but to me, it's the best screen unseen I've seen. And I think it's actually right now, and we got big movies coming up and we got more movies to go throughout the year, but this is turning into my Weapons. Last year, Weapons was my favorite movie of the year. I thought was the best movie of the year that I'd seen. And so far, Motor City, to me, on technicality, like really cool, like something we can go over still on the non-spoiler parts. Like I really love the camera angles they were using at times. And that kind of thing. Like this director, I got to give kudos. Like I don't know how many, like I got to look it up. I haven't even seen who the director was for this movie, but I got to give them some props. The way they were using the camera, the cinematography, like all those things were like super good. Like I didn't see any. Did you like how they were doing the camera?
Some of it, yeah.
It was just interesting, like the different shots. It wasn't shot in a particular way the whole time. It would change at certain spots of the movies to get like a cool angle. It was almost like the director was like, bro, okay, so we're having this particular moment, right? No spoiler, but there's a moment that happens in an elevator. And it was like, we're going to have this moment in the elevator. And it was like, where can I put the camera that would be kind of cool that's different? Like, and the camera angles in that one particular scene was in different ways. It was shot in different ways during it, but I thought it was like really cool and done in a really sweet way. But I mean,
I did not like that sweet way.
Well, you didn't like that particular scene.
The angles were good. I didn't like that.
She just didn't like that scene, but I mean, but the way it was shot, I thought was really cool. And like I said, I think this was a really cool concept. You know, sometimes a movie goes in with a concept that they try to portray, and I thought they did a good job of portraying it. And like I said, obviously Brandy doesn't like it, but if you like this, if you're a person that sits down, gives it a chance, and you actually start digging it, like I actually think this was done really well in that concept. Like basically the guy sat down and was like, yo, bro, we ain't going to have a lot of talking. And the few words you're going to hear are the words that means the most probably in the movie. And I thought it was done really well. And I thought like the Jack Reacher guy, which we're going to have like some stuff we're going to actually do for the new season for Jack Reacher coming up on the channel. But I thought he played a super great part. And I don't think, no, until the very end of the movie, he doesn't say a word. I don't think you hear him say anything. You do hear him scream kind of one time.
What was even his character name? I don't even remember the character.
I don't even know. Like, that's the thing. I don't even know, like, none of these character names.
I know hers. Because it said it on her name tag.
Oh, okay.
And it said it on her other thing that I can't say because it'll be a spoiler.
Right, but yeah, so like you don't even know the characters' names in this. But listen, I'm an hour into the movie. I don't even care what the characters' names are. I didn't even care what the characters' name were. But it's an interesting way to do a movie, and I thought it was like super good. And like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year so far. Obviously, Brandy doesn't think so, but with the non-spoiler, we can go ahead and give a grade here, and then we can talk about some of the things in the movie. But for the people that wants to be non-spoiled, what do you give it? We'll do grades like A through F.
I give it a C.
You got you lower part of the C, like barely passing, C. Or do you have it at the top?
C, middle C. Just
okay. Like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year so far that I've seen. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. And we've seen things like He-Man. But it's like the problem with like a movie like He-Man was like I had fun with it. It was a fun movie. Mm-hmm. But like and part of the dialogue I liked, but a lot of the dialogue I didn't. It was stupid. Like in certain cases, it was dumb. Some of the jokes landed, some of the jokes didn't. That kind of pulls the movie down a little bit. This movie, I'm not going to give it, even though it's my favorite one, I don't want to give the A+ yet, but this is definitely an A- for me. This is definitely a movie that I, driving home just a little bit ago to take my nephew-in-law home. He asked me about the movie, and I was like excited telling him about the movie. Like, bro, if I was you, I'd go see it. And I was telling him about a certain part of the movie. So I had definitely had fun with it. So to me, bro, if you can, maybe matinee or something like that. It's not a super long movie. So even if you find yourself not loving it, you don't have to sit there forever. It's not like a 3-hour movie that you just have, oh God, can this movie end so I can go home kind of situation. Because it's not a super long runtime or anything. It's a shorter film. Hour and a half, maybe hour and 40 minutes. So it's not that. He's not taking a big, huge gamble. But I would say go see the movie. Give it a chance if you like some action. If you like the old school story style of like two guys loving the same woman. And then like it gets pretty hardcore. So with that being said, guys, thank you.